Watch this before May 4th. Is it May 4th yet? Because if you're watching this before May 4th, it's very, very important. It's actually the biggest event of the year by far. I'm not kidding. Like, I know everyone makes these videos like, this is the biggest, most bullish, this thing will totally determine the price of Bitcoin. No, it won't. This will. This is the biggest event of the year by far. It's going to determine up or down for everything, not just Bitcoin, not just stocks, not just Ethereum, not just all your little beautiful altcoins. Every single thing in the world is going to be determined by this event on May 4th. So are you watching this before May 4th? Let's go. All right, here we go. Welcome. My name is Kale. I got a banger video for you guys today. Woo! We're going to finish out the month strong. Okay, so if you're excited about that, please smash the like button because I've got one chart. I'm just going to get into it. I've got one chart that's going to blow your mind. The event, drum roll, please. Actually, no. I got this. I want to like tease it a little bit. Okay, let me tease. You see these blue bars? These blue bars are all of the other events that have happened. This thing is happening on May 4th. Okay, I'm going to tell you what it is in 2 seconds. And it's happened all these other times before, and I've already marked it out for you on the chart. So we're going to learn by the end of this video what is going to happen to the price of Bitcoin and every asset after this thing that's happening on May 4th. If you smash the like button, I'll continue the video. If you don't smash the like button or if you don't share this, the video will self-destruct in 3. I'm just kidding, but please, please do that for me. Okay, here we go. So the event next week is FOMC. FOMC, the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve. I know it sounds stupid and like, what the hell is FOMC? The Federal Open Market Committee. If you didn't know what it stood for, I didn't know what it stood for until just right now, actually. I just saw that and I was like, oh, that's what FOMC stands for. But FOMC stands for the meeting where they determine if the money printer gonna go burr, baby, oh, burr. This is what it determines, okay? I'm in a good mood today. The money printer is going to either go burr or the money printer is not going to go burr. And every asset in the world is determined by this. If you don't believe this, I don't know what to tell you, okay? Because I've marked out every other meeting that has happened this year. All of the FOMC meetings all the way back to like 2021 and then the very first meeting. And just to prove my point, just to prove what happens when the money printer turns on, let's take a little gander back through time here to the very first FOMC that mattered for most of us, right? Remember when COVID hit the planet? Remember when we were all locked down in our houses and afraid for our lives and wearing masks and oh, we were so scary. COVID was so scary. Turns out the whole thing was a scam, but hey, it is what it is. Anyway, I digress. But when this happened, when we had this market meltdown, and I know you can't even see it on this chart because you notice that something crazy happened afterwards. But this green line is when the Fed actually first stepped in. This green line is March 15th when the first FOMC meeting after COVID happened. And I just want to take a gander, just to take a quick look for all you people out there. What happened after that first fateful day? That first FOMC meeting with our boy, Jerome Daddy Powell. Well, They had the meeting, and as you can see, it was the exact bottom, basically, of the market. And ever since then, every single asset has gone up. This is not just Bitcoin. I'm showing you the Bitcoin chart because you know I love Bitcoin. I love my Bitcoin. Every single asset looks the exact same. We had a parabolic run, the likes that have never been seen before. The rich got richer, baby. Everyone got rich. People with their stimmy checks were investing in the stock market. Everything was going crazy. The Robin Hood heroes emerged from the ashes. You guys remember these times? These were good times. Everyone was getting rich. And why was that? It's because a lot of free money was in the room. We were printing money like it was nothing. Oh, yeah. I mean, this guy was literally printing $7, $8, $9 trillion. Wow. Okay. So that happened. We went up. Now, let's talk about what happened after every other meeting, because this is really important, right? I think that if we can figure out what happened after each meeting, we can get an idea of what to do on this meeting next week on May 4th. It's happening on May 4th. They're meeting again, and we're at a very critical point in the markets. I think you guys have noticed all the assets are kind of sitting on a cliff. We're either going to fall off the cliff or we're going to, or I don't know what we're going to do, but I'm going to show you in this next few minutes. Okay, look. So this is what happened. After every single meeting, basically after that first one where we went parabolic, this is going back all the way to January 2021. Let me just go through them real quick, okay? So the January 2021 meeting, we had the meeting. The market got some more direction. Okay, we're going to keep printing the money. Okay, cool. And then we went up, okay? On this meeting right here on March 21st, we actually went down a little, but then we went back up to our all-time high right here, which is great, okay? Then we had another meeting on April 21st. We actually pumped a little bit after that meeting as well. Then we fell off the cliff. I think this was mostly due to Elon. Elon Musk had more to do with this price decline in Bitcoin than anything else. So I would honestly think that these meetings here are kind of a scratch because it was mostly due to Elon. Although it is very interesting, though, that we had this meeting here on July 21st, and that is where we actually started to come back to life for Bitcoin. Isn't that kind of interesting? Then we had another meeting here on September. Can you guys see this? On September 21st, 2021. That was actually a very nice bottom for Bitcoin, and we pressed all the way back up to all-time highs. Again, we had other factors in play here, guys. I'm not saying it was only these meetings, but it is pretty interesting how these meetings seem to define really big moments in the market, right? Like big moments. Like when they have a meeting, it seems like the price seems to move. I don't know. It's weird. It's like if you print $20 trillion, something else happens in the world. It's like there's consequences for your actions. No way. That's crazy to even think about that. There'd be consequences for your actions. Anyway, okay, I digress. Let's keep going. So this one here is very interesting, right? I think this is probably the most interesting one, is when we came up here, we had the meeting on November 3rd, and they started talking a little bit more hawkishly, right? They started saying, hey, we're not going to print as much money. We're not going to print as much money. Inflation's kind of insane. Inflation's kind of out of control right here. Then we had the inflation print that was the exact top of the market at $69,000. And ever since then, it's been down, right? Once inflation started to peak, that is when things change. That's when the rhetoric from the Fed, at these meetings, they started talking about slowing down this money printer ever since November because inflation is too high. And I'll talk about that in a second, why that occurred. But it's very interesting, right? We basically, ever since then, that November meeting, we've been all the way down. And so when I talk about like, guys, this is the most important event of the year. It literally is the most important event of the year. I mean, it literally determines the exact top of Bitcoin. So if you want to know where the exact bottom is going to be, you should probably watch the rest of this video. Okay. Now, the other meetings, kind of interesting as well. Okay. So they had one here on December 21st. We actually had a little bit of a pump. Interesting. On this one right here, January 22, we had a little bit of a pump. Interesting. And on this last one, on March 22, we had a little bit of a pump. Okay, so we actually have been going up a little bit after these meetings ever since we had the big dumpy. So there's another one coming up. There's another blue line coming up right here on May 4th. So what is going to happen? Are we going to go up or are we going to go down? I know that's what you guys want to hear. I know you want to just get to it. So let me just tell you, okay? In my opinion, I think we will go up. So this is May 4th will be right here. This is when the meeting will be. Let me put that beautiful blue line here because this is so that the next one that is in the future, okay? The next meeting is right here, this green line. You guys see this on the chart? Let me move it over here. Okay. So what I think is that I think we will have a temporary relief bounce on this meeting, most likely, if they're able to toe the line correctly. Okay, so if they're able to toe the line correctly, I could see us coming all the way back up to like $44,000, maybe. Okay, that wouldn't be totally out of line. As you can see, we went up the last three meetings, right? But then what happened after? As you notice, the downtrend continued. After we had a little bit of a relief bounce. So for those of you guys who only watched like 4 minutes of this video, you're welcome. I just made you a lot of money. You're probably going to be able to buy some coins, at this weekend or early next week when the market keeps dumping, when the stock market dumps on Monday, because everyone's like, I got to sell some more stuff on Monday. It's Monday. Then Jerome Daddy Powell is probably going to come out on the stage and he's probably going to try to do a soft landing. You guys know what a soft landing is? That's all that they've been very clear about what their intentions are in all of these meetings, guys. I've watched all of these meetings live for the past like 6 months, 12 months. Okay, so I know exactly what they're saying in these meetings. And all they talk about is this concept called a soft landing. A soft landing is where they try to slow down this money printer without breaking everything. Okay, they're literally trying to stop printing as much money without sending stocks to zero, okay, without breaking the entire economy. And that's why I'm telling you, it determines the price of every single asset. And so he's going to come out and he's going to try to he's going to try to say things in such a way, he's going to finagle the way his words are shaped so that he doesn't crash things. And people think that he's being somewhat bullish compared to expectations. It's just this weird market that we're in, guys, where everything is so negative overall, right? Everything is so negative overall. Everyone's calling for a recession overall, that when this guy comes out on the stage and says something even kind of positive, it's kind of like if you were in the biggest fight with your wife of of all time, right? Like you had done something horrible, right? And you came home with flowers and chocolate. Maybe temporarily for the rest of the evening, she would forget that horrible thing that you had done. And you might have a good evening. That's this little pump that we're going to get next week. Because Jerome Powell is going to come try to butter us up next week. He's going to say, hey, it's going to be okay. We're going to be able to land this plane softly. We're going to do a soft landing. But as you notice, most people, well, only person that thinks that we can do a soft landing is Jim Cramer. He's been right a lot lately. No, he has not. But there will be no soft landing. Why a recession is inevitable. The consequence for not landing this plane correctly, for not pulling off the money printer correctly, is that there will be a recession, guys. Everyone knows this. So we are looking for next week. I pulled up the soft landing GIFs. We're looking to see whether Jerome Powell can execute this soft landing. Okay. And that's really what we're trading here. First of all, I think that he is pretty good at these press conferences. I've been watching them, and he's, as you can see, as we've had these lines, he's pretty good temporarily at easing the market's worries. He eased the worries here. He eased the worries here. He eased the worries here, right? Temporarily, he eased the worries here. He eased the worries back here. I mean, he's like it looks like on my lines here that I drew, he's like 8 for 9 or like 9 for 11 on easing the market's worries temporarily, short term. Okay. Now, the real issue though, you can make money on this trade. Sure. I got so many lines on the screen. I apologize. I can't get them off without reducing my blue lines to nothingness. So it just looks messy. But anyway, yes, you can make money on this little move here, guys. This little, this move here. However, we want to know what is going to happen after that. Is there actually going to be a soft landing, or are we headed to a recession? That is my question. So let me dig into that for like 10 seconds. I don't think so. I don't think this guy can land the plane correctly. I think this is the biggest meeting of the year because this guy, even with all of his power and all of his money printing and all of his abilities, he is stuck between a rock and a hard place. He is not going to be able to, that's why he looks stressed out in all these pictures, because he's not going to be able to land this plane correctly. A recession is coming, and here are the reasons why. If you just Google China supply chains and go through some of this news, we are even more dependent on China. China's COVID lockdowns will create a new supply chain crisis. The prospect of lockdowns in Beijing fuels more concerns about supply chain disruptions. Chinese lockdowns will create shocks to American supply chains, but China is the biggest loser. So we have this stuff happening in China, this crazy stuff where they're locking down huge, massive cities, right? And that is going to lead to some very, 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 very bad things happening in the United States in the next 3 to 6 months, in my opinion. From working with Amazon and working with China for the past 8 years of my life, I know that when stuff gets disrupted in China, it hits America, but it takes 3 to 6 months. So this is coming, and I do not think that just simply this guy talking real smooth on a microphone is going to be able to fix that. Okay, I really don't. Russia's supply chains. What effect will the Russian sanctions have on your supply chain? How sanctions on Russia, the war in Ukraine, and COVID are transforming global supply chains. Why the war in Ukraine is further disrupting global supply chains. Ukraine supply chains, wheat. Governments tighten grip on global food stocks, sending prices higher. As the war continues, Africa food crisis looms. Russia's war is threatening the Middle East food security. It's planting season in Ukraine, and that means problems for, guys, Ukraine plus Russia plus China are all not operating at 100% capacity. They're probably operating at 1% capacity. And we need the world is dependent on the goods and the supplies and the things that come out of these countries. And by shutting off these 3 huge supply chains, guys, the United States is going to feel that. Right now, it's the early, this just started a couple months ago, guys. This is global supply chains. Yeah, we're so addicted in crypto to these like instant moves, like, oh, we're going to pump tomorrow. Ha! But that's not how the actual real world works. The real world is dependent on real goods getting here from overseas. And these things are screwed. They're screwed. So I do not believe that there will be a soft landing. And here is the kicker. Here's the nail in the coffin. Here's the reason why we cannot print our way out of this. Because inflation is at an all-time high. Everyone knows this. Food inflation hits all-time high, fuels security risks. The Eurozone inflation hits record high. U.S. inflation expectations brace for new all-time high. As stocks fall, economic fears rise along with inflation. Guys, it'd be all good. It would be all chill and happy and video game funness. Like it would be just like this, okay? You see this candle? You see what happened when we had this meeting here and we went here? The reason that the Fed was able to print 8 trillion back here and send us to new all-time highs and make all of us rich was because inflation was low. Now they can't do this anymore, guys. That's what you need to like. You need to share this video with a friend if this finally clicked for you, right? Why can't the Fed just bail us out? Why can't the Fed just keep printing the money? Because inflation is high. Back here, inflation was less than 2. Inflation was like 1% back here, okay? Inflation. Now, inflation back over here is freaking 8%, headed to 9%, headed to 10%, okay? They cannot keep printing money at this rate. They have to slow it down. So when you combine the fact that they are forced to slow down the money printer just because of inflation with the China supply chain, the Russia supply chain, the Ukraine supply chain, inflation is at an all-time high. Home prices are at an all-time high. There's like 9,000 offers for a shitty house in a shitty neighborhood. Like, you guys have seen this, right? You've seen this in the real world. Like, everything is starting to break. You're starting to see the economy kind of crumble. The GDP, I forgot to talk about this. This is horrible. The US GDP fell at a 1.4% pace to start the year as pandemic recovery takes a hit. The US economy shrank in the first quarter. Guys, this is bad. We are starting to get the very first hints of a recession coming. It could be a depression if he messes up this landing. I think there's different levels to this. There's like a soft landing, which is not going to happen. There's like a hard landing, which is probably a recession, right? We're probably going to hit a hard landing. We're going to have a recession. And then there's like a disaster landing where it ends up like this, where everyone just crashes and burns and dies and we go into a depression. So that's on the table too. So what am I doing? For those of you guys who are like, oh, just talk about Bitcoin. I just want to know if it's going to go up or down. It's going to go up probably on the meeting next week. I think that we will have a little bit of a relief bounce. If you want to play this bounce, go ahead. I don't know if I'm going to play it or not. If you want to know my exact trades on the day of this event and want to talk to me on the day of this event, all you have to do is join 2+2 Genesis. There's an NFT. You just buy one of these NFTs, jump in our Discord. It's amazing. We talk in there every single day. We love it. Jump in there and talk to me. We'll talk through this next week. We'll see what we're going to do. And yeah. And we'll just go from there because I'm not too stressed out about this, guys. Like, I'm not stressed out about, you see this little move here? This is what we're talking about here. I know my screen is very dirty, but can you see this? This little move next week on this meeting I'm not stressed about going from $38,000 to $44,000 Bitcoin. I'm not. I'm mostly concerned with earning interest on my coins, blockfi.com/kale. If you're not in the US, you should be earning interest on your coins while you wait. And then I'm just going to wait for all of this stuff to break because in my opinion, there's too much, all the stuff I just laid out. There's too much happening that's going to push the price of Bitcoin down in the short term here. And I'm talking like 6 months. I'll delete all my lines, okay? Over the next 6 months, again, I believe that we are headed lower, somewhere in the $25,000 range. And I believe that altcoins will be, 100% cheaper here. They'll be so cheap. They'll be so dirty, disgustingly cheap. And we will be able to buy altcoins at extreme lows. We'll buy altcoins down here. And we'll ride them back up when the money printer comes back on after they get inflation under control. But it's going to take some time to get this inflation under control, guys. They're going to have to crash markets. They don't have a choice. So we're going to wait. We're going to be patient. We're going to earn interest on our coins. We're not going to panic. We're going to buy these coins at the generational bottom sometime at the end of 2022 or 2023. And then we're going to get rich again. It's almost like cheating. Like, share this with someone if you're excited about cheating this, because what if you could go back in time to March 2022? What if you could go back in time to this and just ride this wave back up? Would you be successful in life? Well, that's coming again. I know it seems crazy, but the system is so manipulated, like it's all fake money anyway, that it does make sense that these situations would come back again because of all this manipulation, right? It just makes sense. In a real world, in the real economy, this probably wouldn't happen twice. But when you have so much manipulation and these people are so dumb, obviously the same shit is going to keep happening again. And so we're going to have the same moment happen again. And you can take advantage of that. So just come along, be patient, subscribe to this channel, share it with someone, smash the like button, join the NFT, and I'll help you navigate this shit. Let's get it, baby. Have a great weekend. Love you guys. Bye.